So who was with you this weekend?
A bunch of my friends.
Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber, so far French Montana.
Like, it was legit crazy scary. I was waking up in the morning and the first thing I was doing is popping pills and smoking a blunt and starting my day.
Party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote.
Oh, really? One, yeah. Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either. I mean, like actually cycling through them.
I was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Have you been into these rooms where these
I leave 30 minutes for the devil get there. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, there you go.
That's what Denzel told me. Leave 30 minutes for the devil get there.
Invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He was like, I think he's trying to...
It's done. Like, really done. No more tiptoeing around. No more protecting Diddy. People have had it. And guess who's finally breaking the silence? Justin Bieber. For years, he tried to hold it together. He stayed quiet, buried himself in his faith, leaned into his marriage, tried to heal. But what we didn't see, what the world missed, was the trauma bubbling underneath it all. Those meltdowns, the erratic behavior, those strange moments in public that made headlines. It didn't make sense back then, but now it does. Now we get it. Because Justin wasn't just dealing with fame. He was carrying the weight of what he experienced behind the scenes, and baby, it was dark. And now that he's finally ready to speak, he's not doing it for clout. He's speaking for every single person who was silenced, manipulated, pushed into things, and yes, even forced, all by the hands of Diddy.
Right. Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini?
And here's the thing, Justin is telling us that this isn't about just one monster. Nope. It's an entire network. Celebrities, producers, label execs, fake industry friends, all playing a part. Some looked away, some helped cover it all up, and others, they were trapped too. Victims caught in Diddy's twisted little universe, dragged into it and forced to play along. And now, Justin's naming names, and we're talking big names, names that have stood by Diddy on red carpets, smiled with him at award shows, laughed it up at those infamous out-of-control parties. But Justin says behind all that glam, it was chaos, it was control, and it was dark.
I mean, you good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
So get this, during jury selection for Diddy's trial in NYC, prosecutors handed a list to potential jurors. And not just any list, we're talking over 100 names. This was no coincidence. This list had actors, artists, execs, you name it, all directly or indirectly tied to Diddy. Some of the names, oh, you're not ready. Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, the Kardashians, Mike Myers? Yes, that Mike Myers.
You know half the people you're naming?
No. She didn't go to bed.
I haven't been to bed yet.
You haven't?
I want to be Clay when I grow up, Court. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. Go to this party. I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved.
Now, none of them are being charged, let's be clear. But the fact that their names were even on that list, that speaks volumes. It shows how wide this thing goes. And Cassie, her name came up again, along with Dawn Richard from Danity Kane. Both women accuse Diddy of abuse. His legal team keeps denying everything, but honestly, the walls are closing in. Too many people are talking, too many stories match, and suddenly Justin Bieber's name is popping up too, not as an accused, but as a former insider. Old videos? They're resurfacing. Justin as a teen hanging with Diddy, Diddy talking to him about girls, giving him keys to a house, gifting him a Lamborghini. Sounds generous, right? But now, with everything that's unraveling, it all looks sinister.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
signed to Usher?
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
Justin finally released a statement, through his team of course. He made it super clear Diddy never abused him personally, but that doesn't mean he didn't see it all go down. He fully supports the survivors. He believes in the fight for justice. But the most powerful thing? What he didn't say. Justin never called it alleged. He didn't deny the stories. He didn't say wait for the facts, because he knows. He saw it. Fans have been worried for Justin for a while. Weird Instagram posts, cryptic captions, pulling back from music, emotional outbursts. People knew something wasn't right. Now, we finally know why. Remember, Justin was just 13 when this all started. Discovered young. Signed under Usher. And Usher? He was under the same label system that took orders from, you guessed it, Diddy. At some point, Justin wasn't just signed to a label. He was handed off, passed around. A teenager, pulled into the spotlight and into Diddy's world. That's the chilling part. This wasn't about managing careers. Diddy had access to kids, and everyone around him let it happen. And speaking of huge names, brace yourself, because one of the biggest ones involved, Jay-Z.
Okay. So we can see him soon.
He has an umbrella line. He's translated the umbrella.
Umbrella line.
He always had a plan.
Okay.
He always had a plan. But he's also doing. He also does commentating for Access Hollywood.
Now this next part is sickening. An anonymous woman filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy and an unnamed male celebrity, at the time, for SAing her at an MTV VMA afterparty in 2000. And she was, wait for it, 13 years old. She said she tried to get into the VMAs, and a limo driver told her he worked for Diddy, took her to a party. There, she was handed a document she now believes was an NDA. Then came the drink that made her dizzy, disoriented. She went to lie down in a bedroom, and that's when it happened. She claims 2 men and a well-known female celeb came in. The men assaulted her. The woman just watched. At first, the second man wasn't named, but in December, the complaint was amended, and that second man was named as Sean Carter, Jay-Z. Jay's team denied it hard. He said if something like that happened, it deserves a criminal case, not civil. He talked about his heartbreak over explaining this to his children, and then the case was dropped with prejudice. That means the woman can never file it again. The door is closed. No trial, no testimony. Just gone. People started whispering, was she pressured? Paid off? Did the weight of going up against Jay-Z crush her completely? Because while Diddy's empire is collapsing piece by piece, Jay-Z, he remains untouched. His reach is massive. Music, tech, real estate, politics. He moves in silence and walks away clean. And that's the scary part. Diddy built his throne, but he wasn't alone. Let's go back to Usher for a second. Did you know that in the 90s, when Usher was still a teenager, L.A. Reid arranged for him to live with Diddy? Yeah, not just work with him, live with him. And now, people are raising serious questions about that whole situation. Usher hasn't made any direct comments about the lawsuits against Diddy, but there's this old 2016 interview with Howard Stern that's resurfaced. And OMG, what he said hits different now. Usher talked about parties at Diddy's place, said there were always girls around, said you just walk into rooms and find people doing it, even full-on orgies. That was his normal back then. A teen being exposed to that, think about that. And what about Mary J. Blige? Another icon whose early career was tied to Diddy. She hasn't spoken publicly either, but in March 2024, after lawsuits started flying, she dropped this cryptic Instagram post. I burn bridges as needed. No names, no details, but fans were like, yeah, we know who you're talking about. Mary was just at Diddy's album release party in 2023. They've been photographed together constantly over the years, from the white parties to studio sessions. But now, that burn bridges line says it all. Some celebs are scrambling to distance themselves. Damon Dash? He quickly shut down rumors after a 2004 photo resurfaced of him at a party with Jennifer Lopez and a 19-year-old Aaliyah lying on a bed. Annoyed, I went to one party. Over 20 years ago, that's it, he said. Still, the photo made people uncomfortable, especially since Aaliyah passed just a year later, and Diddy showed up at her funeral. Creepy, right? Then there's Justin Bieber. He wasn't a victim, but he was there, around it, saw it, and now he's speaking out while everyone else stays quiet. Was his silence fear, loyalty, or something worse? And let's not forget Diddy's wild party circuit, his real playground. His 50th birthday in 2019, a full-on celeb parade, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Cardi B, Post Malone, all smiles. And some of those same faces were at the infamous 2000 4th of July party, now named in lawsuits. Mariah Carey, she wore a white wedding dress to Diddy's 35th birthday. Drake, The Weeknd, Kelly Rowland, all partied at his 2014 New Year's Eve bash, where Diddy literally changed into silk pajamas mid-party. Now, not everyone was complicit. Some probably didn't know, but a lot of them definitely did. And their silence now? Screaming! Because this isn't just Diddy anymore. R&B singer Aaron Hall and bad boy exec Harv Pierre have also been named. One woman said she and her friend were attacked by Diddy and Hall in 1990. Another said in 2003, when she was just 17, Pierre found her at a lounge, called Diddy, and flew her out. She was drugged, assaulted, and has no memory of how she even got home. Then came the biggest whistleblower yet, Rodney Lil Rod Jones. He lived at Diddy's house, produced his 2023 album, and what he revealed? Terrifying. What he saw, what he experienced, shocked. It's also, according to his lawsuit, Diddy exposed himself to him, groped him, pressured him to have sex with men in the industry, even tried to bait him with a Grammy. Seriously, a Grammy, as a reward for sex. It gets worse. Jones says he was assaulted by a cousin of rapper Young Miami, while Diddy and his staff stood there and did nothing. He didn't stop with Diddy. His lawsuit names Diddy's son Justin Dior Combs. It names Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Karoum. It names entire companies, Love Records, Combs Global, you name it. And then he dropped a bomb. He says he witnessed a shooting at a studio involving Diddy, Justin Dior Combs, and another victim. The kicker, his original lawsuit also named Universal Music Group, Motown Records, even top execs like Ethiopia Habtemariam and Lucian Grange. They got dropped later, but their inclusion, this web goes deep. Rodney isn't just accusing, he's documenting. This isn't gossip, it's dates, names, receipts. Another voice that finally spoke out, Dawn Richard from Danity Kane. She sued Diddy too, and her story is just sad, heartbreaking. She said it started the minute she joined Making the Band. She and the girls were overworked, starved, berated, controlled. It wasn't a music career, it was a prison. Diddy would barge into dressing rooms during fittings, groping, intimidating, scheduling meetings half naked just to dominate her mentally. It didn't stop when Danity Kane ended either. She joined Diddy Dirty Money, and the abuse? Still happening. She said she saw him abuse Cassie firsthand, multiple times. The manipulation, the fear, constant. There was even a moment in 2010 in a rehearsal studio where Diddy tried to punch her in the face, in front of people. She and another singer were then allegedly locked in a car for 2 hours against their will. People were scared. They were blackmailed. They were bribed. They were forced into silence.
With that, you see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here is men.
And guess who else is being named? Music titan Jimmy Iovine. Dawn Richard says he watched Diddy punch Cassie in the stomach at a party, and still, Jimmy did nothing, just carried on with business. Another name that's come up? Young Miami, aka Carisha from City Girls. She was publicly dating Diddy for a while, and at first she tried to stay out of it, said, "I don't know anything, that wasn't my experience," but then her name was dropped in a lawsuit. The plaintiff said she was forced to travel and perform for Diddy, and during a traumatic period, when she found out she was pregnant, Young Miami allegedly pressured her to have an abortion. The stress led to a miscarriage. Whether Carisha was complicit or a victim herself, that part is still unclear. But her silence now, it's definitely making people uncomfortable. Oh, and if you thought things couldn't get messier, enter Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, the That 70s Show guy. He co-hosted Diddy's White Party in 2009 with his then-wife, Demi Moore. Guests included Chris Brown, Lil' Kim, Bruce Willis, even Will Smith. And in 2019, Ashton said on Hot Ones, "I've got a lot I can't tell. Diddy party stories, man." What did he mean by that? Even Diddy called his own parties crazy. You had food being served on naked women, celebs everywhere. Leonardo DiCaprio was at the very first White Party in 1998. There are so many photos of him with Diddy over the years. In 2022, Kate Beckinsale was seen partying with Diddy. Lindsay Lohan, also there. She was on his yacht back in 2008. Same White Party, same vibes. Leo, he's been snapped at multiple Diddy events. His team says he has nothing to do with that world, but come on. The connections are there. Now, just because someone went to a party doesn't mean they did anything wrong. But let's be honest, when the same group of A-listers shows up over and over again, and the same accusations keep resurfacing, it doesn't feel like glitz anymore. It feels like shadows. It feels like people protecting a monster, propping him up, letting him thrive, because Diddy didn't build this empire alone, and he definitely didn't celebrate it in silence. So now we ask, who really knew? Who stayed quiet? And who's next? Because Justin Bieber just kicked the door wide open, and we're finally seeing what's been hidden for way too long.